Okay, so when you're doing your writing, it is important that the physical spacing is very clear, because also we're going to see an example now of a very nice, very nice essay. Okay, which means an argument or an account. Okay, an essay is not a story. An essay is not correspondence. It's an account, a discussion, arguments in favor or against. Okay. Now, before we begin, remember this week I have entered you all for the exams. So they will be on the 12th and the 13th. Okay. So the speaking exams will begin at about 11 o'clock on the 12th of December. Okay. That's for the morning session until about 2 o'clock. So 11, 12, 1. We should do about 15 people in the morning. And then we will also do them at 4 o'clock until 6 o'clock. So that will give us another 6 people on Friday afternoon. And then at 6 o'clock, you must all come to AMPE, because we will have our final class. That will be a face-to-face class, and it is about the listening part. Okay. So it's a very special class, which we will do together. And then on the Saturday morning, we will do the B2 exam at 9 o'clock. At 9 o'clock. And that will finish at 11:30. So if you're coming to do the B2 exam, you'll start doing the exam. And the rest of the people who did not do the speaking exam at C1 level will come on Saturday morning too. Okay, so there'll be 4 or 5 people I've calculated.
Joshua,
yes.
are you going to tell us the order?
Yeah, I will tell you the order the week before. Okay.
Okay, thank
you. I will give you the chance to tell me. But normally if you come in groups of 4 together, then it's not strictly that you have to be number 1, number 2, number 3. Okay, so maybe 4 people can come at 11 o'clock, and 4 people can come at 12 o'clock, and 4 people can come at 1 o'clock. And then you can relax a little bit and speak, and just get used to the place as well. Okay. And then the C1 exam will be on the Saturday at 11:30, which means we will finish at 2 o'clock. Now, it's very important. Sometimes we might have something like an inspection from AMPE. If that happens, everything is about 1 hour later. Okay, so please don't make plans that I have to leave at 2 o'clock. Yeah, I'm going to have lunch with my mum at 2 o'clock. I can't stay any longer. All right. I have to take a train. No, don't take the train. Take the later train if you're going back home. All right.
Okay.
Okay. So I think you have until the 22nd or 20th of November to pay for the exam. Right. Now that is completely to do with AMPE. You have to speak to Guillermo or whoever is at AMPE in Salamanca. So that's not something that is absolute. I'm not involved with this part of the process at all. Right. So if you want to know how to pay, how much, I don't even know how much it is, to be honest. Okay. So you have to speak to them. And then also you have about 10 days, 2 weeks, let's say end of next week, maybe the following week, 14th, If you decide not to do the exam, or if you decide to do a different level, then you still have time to tell me to cancel. Okay? So you've got about 10 days, let's say. Let's say until the end of next week. Okay? Until the end of next week. If you decide you don't want to do the exam, you have time to cancel and there's no problem. Okay, all right. So we got a few less people today. I think we have 18 people who are going to take the B2 exam and 9 people who are going to take the C1 exam. So quite a lot of people to talk to. Okay, so today, any questions about the exam before we begin?
No questions.
Not for the moment. Okay, good. Okay, so today we're going, well, we spoke about speaking, listening, writing, which means today we're going to talk about reading, of course. Okay, so we're going to do 2 things today. First, we're going to do some of the reading, and then we're going to do a bit of exam practice. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of exam practice at the end. So a good idea if you can stay, because then we'll be doing some dictation and listening particularly. Okay, so there we go. We're going to look at reading today. And before we do the reading, we're going to look at some writing. Now, I'm going to show you an essay from somebody who sent it to me today. It was a very good essay. It got a good mark. But I want you to look at it and spend a few minutes and tell me what could be improved. Okay, read it. Make some notes. Don't tell me for the moment. I give you 5 minutes to read it. And tell me what mark you would get. You know what kind of marks you're normally getting with your writing. So read it. Spend about 5 minutes reading it. See if you can see any mistakes, and then we will talk about it. Okay, so I'm going to have a glass of water. I'll turn off my video so you can concentrate. Okay, so we've had a look. Okay, I want you to give me. Oh, there, Sandra's coming in. That's nice. Okay, so there we go. Pietro. Please, would you give me what's your feeling about this? Is it good? Is it bad? Is it pass? Is it fail? What do you like about this essay? What do you think? Tell me the good things. We can't hear you, Pietro.
Sorry. I was saying it's good. It's very clear. The introduction, uh, the main part, and the conclusion,
Mm-hmm.
and uh, you can read and follow it quite well. There are some.
Absolutely. Very good. Very good. Absolutely. So it's very clear that we have an introduction. Excellent. That we have the arguments in favor. Very good. That we have the arguments against, sorry, which are a bit longer. They're not mixed up. Okay. They're not mixed up, which is very important. They're all together. And finally, we have a conclusion. So that's very, very good. And it's quite easy to read. Okay.
There
Let's
are
see.
some things that can be improved.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, thank you. Let's see. Maria Gonzalez, what do you think could be improved here?
Maybe some verb tenses along the essay that could be
Mhm.
improved.
Definitely. So the verb tenses and the agreement, with the verb form. The
Mhm.
verb form is the agreement. Yeah, absolutely. Good. What else do you think?
Um, I didn't finish reading the whole essay, but the notes that I took, they were related with the verb tenses, and also, for example, it says, one second. There are many public transport. I would say there is many public transport instead of the plural. Yeah, maybe the
Mhm.
accordant within the singular and plural forms as
Oh,
well.
okay. Yeah. Singular, plural forms. Again, agreement. All
Mhm.
right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Word order sometimes because we've used some adverbials. So the word order. So let me see. I want you to look at this and I want you in the chat box, out of a maximum of 100, how many points? Just write down how many points would you give this out of 100? Maximum 100. Write it down right here, please, in the chat box. 75, says Christina. Okay. 70, says Pietro. Miguel Angel, a veteran teacher, says 60. Sylvia says 70. Wow, 85. Alicia, did you write this? Is this yours? Not sure. It might be. 75, said Eduardo. 80, says Felix. Okay, Miguel Angel is justifying his very severe and drastic mark, particularly low. Okay, anybody else want to tell us how many points you would give this? Okay, that's fine then. Okay, but your average there is probably about 65. And I think she got 65. I think I was a bit generous, to be honest. I think 62 would be more. Okay, about 62, I think. Okay, now why is that? If we look here, we can see some of the mistakes. Okay, the first one is that if you look here, we've left some space. Okay, original, it's all together. But down here, we have left some space. There's the introduction. There are the arguments in favor. There are the arguments against. And there is the conclusion. So that's one thing we do have to think about. It's important to separate physically on the page and leave a space between each section. Okay. Now, this is a very typical one when we talk about the pollution. The pollution. Why is it not the pollution? Can somebody explain to me?
I think it's because in English pollution is uncountable, isn't it?
It's uncountable. And so this, which is called the zero article, okay, the zero article is used for abstract concepts. Abstract concepts like pollution, like music, like pleasure, like damage, like heat or cold. Okay, so can you think of any other things which take the zero article? Any other words where we do not use article?
Feelings.
Okay, look. Can you see this? Can you see this in the chat box? All you need is love. Okay. Okay, so love is another abstract noun which does not need an article. So pollution is one of these. Okay. Here's another one. Yeah, we'll look at them. Okay. So anyway, nowadays pollution is a very popular topic to talk with people. To talk with people. Okay. It's difficult to imagine a city without cars, but can we reduce using a car? Okay, so we reduce doing something. Okay. Look at that. We reduce doing something. We don't reduce to do something.
Reduce driving.
We reduce driving, yes.
It's
Okay.
it would be possible
That we reduce driving a car. Perfect. Yeah, that'd be absolutely perfect. Yes. Okay. Well, also, and we continue then, I think that in major cities it is easier because there is a lot of public transport, okay? There's a lot of public transport. For example, in Madrid, people usually go to work, not to job or not to their job. Listen, go to work, school, jail, hospital, university. Okay. These are idioms, okay? They're collocations. They're collocations. Go to bed, go to work, go to school, go to jail, go to hospital, go to university, go to hell. Okay. There's an insult. Okay. Go to hell. 2. There we go. 2 asterisk, not a 5 asterisk. Okay. So when we use them, we don't need to use an article. Okay. But it's nice to usually go to work by train. However, this situation has many problems, such as the delays. Okay. My cousin starts to work at 10 o'clock. Nice. Look, we've written 10 o'clock. Well done. That's beautiful. Not with numbers. Okay? When we're writing the essay, we have to use the written form. But she wakes up at 8 o'clock. To be honest, we should use we should use capital letter. So why does she wake up so early? You said too early. No, so early. That's an adverbial. Okay? Not a quantifier. Because she depends on transport. And maybe she can arrive very late for work. Okay, that's all right. Oh, sorry. On the other hand, perhaps private transport increases the volume of traffic. For example, at 8 o'clock, then we put 8. So we should have said 8, right? 8 o'clock. It's rush hour to get to work. So if we take our car because it's more comfortable, we possibly arrive late to work because all the people will meet on the road. Okay, all the people will meet on the road. That's okay. Moreover, if everybody goes to their assignments, now I don't really know what this means, assignments. Okay. Yeah, I'm not really sure, but maybe we could say they're places of work by car. They can pollute. Yeah, okay. They can pollute the world more. Therefore, there is another option. Most people use bicycles today, okay? I consider that this is a good point because you don't pollute and at the same time you're doing exercise. Perfect. In conclusion, wonderful. The government must make decisions. They have the responsibility, not responsibility, to discuss and communicate their arguments, but the people have to commit to fulfilling it. Wow, that's amazing, isn't it? Oh, what a nice essay. So clear. So yeah, 62, that's just enough for what we need. Okay, so we quite like that. Okay, let's go on now to our reading. There we go. Here's some things which you need to think about. I don't know, I've got it twice, but anyway, we've got it twice. Reading. Things we need to take into account. Answer everything. Why? Why answer everything? Eduardo, why do we want to answer everything?
It's always better to answer something than anything.
Why?
Because it's important to try every question.
Because you get more points, don't you? You get a higher score, you get more points, and because there are no negative points, okay? So if you answer correct, you get 1 point. And if you don't answer, you get 0 points. And if you answer if you answer with a mistake, an error, and it is not correct, you still get 0 points. So you must answer. Okay. What about manage your time? What about manage your time? Angelica, what do I mean by manage your time?
That you have to know how long is the exam, and you have to control the time that you used for some parts and for the other parts. Maybe.
So how long? Listen, you would have a maximum of 40 minutes, approximately 40 minutes to do the reading. But how much time should you use, do you think?
Maybe 30 minutes and then
30 minutes.
10 minutes for read everything and look for wrong things.
There we go. So we're going to say initially we want to use 5, 7, 8, and 10, which is
is 30.
30. Absolutely. Okay. So 5, 7, 8, and 10. 30. Okay. That is the amount of time you need to do the reading, and then also to have an extra 10 minutes to go back and look at the reading again. And you will get extra points by doing that. Okay. What do I mean when it says elimination and deduction? Anna Isabel, what does that mean? Elimination and deduction. Oh, we can't hear you. Anna Isabel, you're silent. Okay, don't worry, don't worry. Jennifer. Oh, we can't hear you either. Okay, Alba, are you there? No. And Christina, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, so what do we mean by elimination and deduction?
Well, I think it's that you concentrate in the question, concrete, maybe, but deduction. This is the deduction.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I think it's you have concrete. You have choose the information concrete.
Yeah, okay, good.
Okay.
And what else? Miguel Angel, when I say elimination and deduction, what does that mean?
Probably there are some questions that are or very very easy to answer because it's sure that it's not the right answer, so we can eliminate this uh, answer and mm, more or less to deduce something which is not very clear, but we can suppose that this can be the most probable good answer.
Excellent. Okay, so our example was always about animals, wasn't it? Okay, about animals. So if we said, which animals in the article were easily confused with dinosaurs, and you say, was it an elephant, a whale, or a mouse? Well, we can probably an elephant, which is very big, and a whale, which is very big, and a mouse, which is very small. We can probably eliminate the mouse, okay, and concentrate. However, what we are doing here, we're doing something here which we call, okay, our mental process is called framing. Do you understand framing? What's a frame? Any idea? What is a frame?
Marco.
Good. Okay. So when we have a frame, it means that we are looking at the things inside the frame. Okay. And if we look at the things and we focus on what is inside the frame, and in our mind, we have included inside the frame the elephant and the whale, but not the mouse. Okay. That means we are restricting our attention to a particular thing. Okay. An example of framing is, for example, when the question begins with something like, imagine the question begins with when. when the question begins with when, we know that we only have to read the part of the text which is talking about dates or days or years or times. Okay? The answer to when will not be his wife or his children or his house, okay, or his education. It will be the year or whatever. So that's very important for us to frame things, okay? And then to skim and to scan. Felix, are you there? Felix?
Yes,
Yeah, what does it mean then to skim and to scan?
I don't know. It's difficult to me.
Oh,
Skin, I don't know. I don't know to read again. It's possible skin. The scan, I think is. I don't know to read again. I think it's
mhm.
difficult.
Okay, can anybody tell me what does it mean to skim and to scan when we're talking about a text?
Skim is to reduce to the most important parts. Skimmed milk, no?
Mm-hmm.
And scan is search for the more or less the same for the most important parts that the text lost.
Absolutely. Very good. So if we skim, it means we're looking, it's not profound understanding. It means it's superficial. And we're looking on the surface level. We're just looking at the text to identify particular things. And when we scan, it means what are we looking for? What are we looking for? So when we get the question when, if we start scanning, we're trying to identify where it talks about a date, a year, a time, a day of the week. All right. So it'll be that will be something which is related to time. Okay, very important, very important. You do this all the time. Okay, you do this all the time. You're skimming and scanning. Okay, all right. For example, let me show you something. When you buy something, from the Corte Inglés, and then you get the bill, what do you look for? What's the most important thing?
Price.
Total amount.
The price, of course. You don't start reading at the top and going like it's a book, and then finally, gosh, well, I read 5 minutes and then I got to the price. You go direct to the price. And in your mind, you're thinking, how much? Okay? So you identify exactly. And that's why you don't read everything. It's not necessary to read everything. Okay? And finally, your background knowledge, background knowledge. Alicia, what does this mean, your background knowledge?
I'm not sure, but I think it is have a look the exam, the reading part again, uh, read again, and so the answers.
Okay. Yeah, well, not exactly. Not exactly. Maria Angeles, are you there?
Yes.
And so what does it mean, the background knowledge, do you think?
I think it's when you read the first time, the
Not
what
exactly.
you are understand in the first time.
Yeah, possibly. Anybody else? Any volunteer to tell us what's background knowledge?
For instance, imagine something like the United States history, 19th century.
Mhm.
The agreement between Grant and Lee.
Mhm.
If you don't know the history of the United States, and
Mhm.
especially the Civil War,
Yeah.
who was Grant, the general from the north, and Lee, the general from the south,
Yes.
at the end of the Civil War.
But if you don't know anything about the Civil War, then you have no background knowledge.
And
Okay.
you are lost.
And you are completely lost. But if you are lucky enough to know something about the subject of the text, if you are lucky enough, then you will have an advantage. Okay. So let's imagine it's talking about healthy food. And you know that healthy food is going to be vegetables and fiber and vitamins and protein. Okay. And then things like sugar and alcohol and fat and fried foods. You already know that this is not healthy food. And so that helps you to identify the different things, doesn't it? Okay. So maybe if you're lucky enough to have some background knowledge, then that will also help you. All right, then. And there's two more concepts which we will talk about in a minute. Okay, we'll talk about in a minute. But just remember, this is not reading for pleasure. This is reading for business. Okay, this is reading for business. All right, and that's why you don't read everything. And you mustn't read everything. There is no time to read everything. Okay. Okay. I want you to get together. I want you to get together in your rooms. I'll give you 5 minutes. I'll give you, there you are, 4 different rooms. I want you to get together. I want you to make a list. All the things which you have read today. Okay. I want you to talk about all the things you have read today. All right? Everything which you have read today. Probably start with text messages and emails, probably, right? So let's see. All the things that you have read today. Are you ready? I will give you 5 minutes. Not 10, 5 minutes together to make a list of all the different things you've read today. Are you ready? Right. So you can go into your rooms. You should have an invitation there, which is inviting you to go to a room and make a list of all the things which you have read today. I'll just pause through. Okay, so would you like to write down some of the things that you've read in the chat box, please? Just some of the things that you have read today. Write them down in the chat box, please. Online news, emails, come on, a book, yep. Research articles. Any more? Traffic signs, about cars, recipes, university notes. my maths book. Okay. Yeah, investigation work. Yep. Posts and new things on Instagram. Things in the supermarket. Yeah, of course. A poem of a ghost called Nicholas. All right. News. So my question to you is, when we are preparing to do an exam, okay, the DELE C1 preparation, C2 preparation exam. Wow, Pietro's doing two at the same time, English and Spanish. Amazing. Okay. But when we are preparing for our reading exam, remember, we have two ways of preparing. We could read a book like this book by my friend Walter Benjamin, Stares at the Sea, by C.D. Rose, okay, which is a great book, which is very funny in its short stories and very interesting. This will not help us in the exam, okay? This will not help us in the exam because this is reading for pleasure. This is a book and I like reading it. It will not help me, okay? However, if I wanted to read something like this bill, okay, this bill for something or other, this is what we call not extensive, but intensive reading. With a bill or anything which is technical, for example, here we have some information about an insurance policy, some insurance, un seguro. This is very intensive reading because I have to read it and I have to identify the important points very quickly. So for us, reading a book is not going to help us for the exam, but reading an instruction manual or instructions or reading a book about cooking, which gives us the instructions and recipes, that is always going to be very helpful, okay? So it's what we call intensive reading. News is good. News is good as well, okay? News, not opinion. So when we're reading the newspaper, the news is good. The opinion columns are not so good, okay? Because in the end, those are extensive reading things. So anyway, let's get on and see a bit of reading, okay? So if we look, first of all, the reading format, question 4 is a gap fill, which is three choices, A, B, or C, 5 short texts. Number 4 is, again, 1 text, 5 questions. So 5 points, 5 points, 5 points, and 5 points. Number 6 is open-ended questions, where you have to make a note. You have to write some short answers. Okay. And number 7 is also you have to complete the sentences, but you have to complete them with the correct grammar and style and vocabulary. That's why we have 5 minutes, 7 minutes, 8 minutes, and 10 minutes. Okay, so we will see the kind of questions we have. Okay, let's see the kind of questions we will have. Remember, read the questions first. Read the questions first. Okay, some questions. Okay, 5 minutes, easy. 5 minutes, 5 minutes. I'll give you 5 minutes. Read the questions, answer the questions. A, B, or C. A, B, or C. Each one. I'll give you 5 minutes. You got 2 minutes left. You got 1 minute left. Okay, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Okay, so number one, what is it? Number one, A, B, or C, please. A, B, or C.
C.
Sí.
C.
C, 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 C. Everybody says C. Indeed, of course. Cycling. It's a helmet, isn't it? Of course. Cycling, helmet. That's it. We don't need any more. We don't need any more. Not a life jacket. Okay, unless you're in the water, aquatic cycling. Okay, you don't need a thermal vest. Wow, unless you're cycling in the mountains. There we go. Okay, what about number two?
I'm afraid that here both B and C are possible.
B and C. You think B and C are possible. What's the difference between a reservoir and a dam? What's the First of all, our elimination, we can eliminate suburb. So now it's between reservoir and dam. And everybody says B, it is reservoir. Okay, it's the reservoir of water. Yep, so it's B. The dam is the structure which closes the reservoir. So we don't drink from the dam. The dam is the very strong structure which is at the end of a reservoir. Okay. So it must be reservoir. Good. Okay, number three, Jessica Clark.
B.
B, 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 B. Okay, because it's a violin and it's a string instrument. Yeah, that's it. Violin. Sorry, violin. Okay, and the next one, Midland Adventure Park.
B.
B.
Ah, people are going, ooh, well, could be, could be.
Slopes.
Winter, slopes. Mm-hmm. Lights. Okay. So it's going to be skiing. Yep. Okay. It's going to be skiing, not ice skating, because normally you don't take a flight to go ice skating in another country, but you would definitely take a flight to go on a skiing holiday. So it's the best answer. And finally, number five, Cusco.
A.
A, okay. Altitude, 3,400 meters. We skim, we scan, we find out 300 elevation. Ah, warning. Ah, okay. What is the warning of the elevation of 3,400 meters? Altitude sickness. Absolutely. Good. So quite easy there. So we would be looking at that and we'd be expecting you, if you're going to do C1, to have at least 4. And if you're doing B2, to have at least 3. So these are the easy ones. The easy ones. Now, listen. The most difficult one was number 2. The most difficult one was number 2. If you don't understand, go on, go on, go on. And make a note that you did not answer and come back and answer at the end. Okay? Don't get stuck. Don't wait. Don't spend 2 minutes, 3 minutes on one question if you don't know. You come back afterwards. Okay? So, there we go. Another of our formulas are here. I've put this in twice, haven't I? Okay, 5, 6, 7, 5, 7, 8, 10. Remember, that was how many? What's the sum?
30.
30.
Okay, 30 remember, out of 45 or 40. Depends if it's B2 or C1. But it does mean you have an extra 10 minutes. If you finish everything in 30 minutes, you have an extra 10 minutes to go back and look at all the different reading parts. Okay? And make sure you have answered everything. Let's look at another reading one. Question number 5. Oh my God. Oh my God. What's missing here? There's a problem. What's the problem? What's the problem?
The question?
There's no questions. So if I said, start reading this and memorize and then answer the questions, you'd think I'm stupid. You'd think I'm crazy. So I'm going to ask you, first of all, read the questions, okay? Read the questions, okay? We might say, look, pension reforms affect women. Pension reforms affect women. Okay, it's good to understand pension, women, specifically. Now, look at the questions. Look at the questions. And I bet you can frame the questions. I bet you can frame the questions, at least the first one. For example, look at number 1. Look at number 1. What do you imagine? They said the adverse effects of pension reform. Who would experience the most adverse effects of pension reform, do you think?
B.
A.
A. Probably A, isn't it? Because normally people with middle-class family or high socio-economic status have a good pension normally, right? And normally it's the people in the manual jobs who have the worst effects or the least favorable. So we might imagine, okay, I could answer that question. And then when I look at the text, because I understood the question, now look. Look at the question, manual jobs, scam, skin. Skip.
Women exposed to routine and manual occupations.
Okay, now you are obviously, okay, you are obviously a translator, okay, because you are scamming and skinning. So this is your job. This is your profession. But absolutely, yeah. Okay, the manual occupations increased risk. Read question number 2 and try to understand the meaning. In this case, I can tell you that the important thing is in A and B, because we're talking about women and men, okay, in the same way, okay. What about the impact of pension on health? Okay, so I would focus on these two because they're very easy to identify. So look at those two. See, what's the answer? Look at the question again. Women and men experience the effects in the same way, or the impact of pensions on health?
A.
A.
B.
Okay. Okay. B. There's been a failure to notice the impact of pension on health, and we've got it in 2 places here. Okay. The unanticipated negative health consequences. Okay. The well-being of older women and potentially men. Okay, but it's not exactly men and women. Okay, but we are saying, okay, the impact of pensions on health, a failure. Okay, let's go on. Let's go on.
I think we could have been excluded the first one from the beginning.
I think we could. Yeah. Yeah. What about number 3? Which effect was anticipated? Which effect was anticipated? Increased employment, increased physical health, increased mental health. Okay, so increased mental health, increased physical health, or increased employment. Which one was anticipated?
Physical and mental illness.
Okay, have a look, have a look. Okay. increased reports, this was the important thing, or increased risk, B or C?
Risk. C.
C. Okay, so not reports of physical health problems, but increased risk of increased risk of mental illness. This is the difficult one. This is the difficult one. Don't get stuck. Move on to the next one. Okay, let's have a look. 2 academics would like to see further research that considers how much to extend the state pension for male workers. The clearest way to promote a one-size-fits-all, which means a universal approach, okay, not just men, but men and women, and the positive and negative effects. So is it mainly extending the age for male workers? 2, looking for a universal implication or a universal measure, or 3, looking at the positive and negative negative effects. Remember, 2 academics. Look, 2 academics. The first thing I say you have to do is identify the 2 academics by skimming. Can you see the names of the 2 academics?
Sì, Avendano e Glaser.
Mauricio.
There we go. Those are our 2 academics. Once we've found that, we can say the 2 academics. Yeah. Okay. What did they want to talk about? What did they want to talk about? What did they talk about? A, B, or C?
I think C.
Positive and negative. So they said, okay.
The impact.
Positive and negative. Evaluate evaluate the longer fulfilling working lives, but also the critical aspects, mental and physical health. So we have a positive thing and a negative thing. Oh, so the positive and negative things are C. Absolutely. Okay. So we're getting there. And finally, okay, which of these policy implications of the study described which of these is a policy implication of the study described in the passage? Okay. National policies should prevent women from only doing manual jobs. The government should consider varying pension age, or it's about women and health. Okay, so is it in our mind where it is about women and jobs? Is it about a different retirement age, or is it about women and health? Let's look.
prevent negative health consequences for women.
But it doesn't say that, does it?
It's a mix.
Okay. So it's not C because it talks about women and health, but not like that. What
B.
does it say?
B maybe.
Whether pension eligibility rules should consider occupation as a criterion.
Okay.
So B.
B. So we should vary the pension age depending on the job type. Look at that. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Good. Very good. So again, looking at the questions, we could probably do 1, 2, 3 very quickly. Oh, we got a few doubts. Move on. Move on. Okay. Make a note. You've got 2 questions here you'll come back to afterwards. Normally, you won't forget what you've already written, what you've already read. You will remember, it will be in your mind. Okay. So it's not too bad. And that's what we mean by our low-hanging fruit. Okay, Alicia, what does this mean? Alicia, what does this mean, our low-hanging fruit?
I don't remember it.
Easy. The things are easy.
The easy questions, absolutely. The easy questions. You can just take them, okay? Okay, then. Let's go on to the next one. Next one. There we go. Easy. Question 6. Urban design. Oh, all right. Urban design. Online urban design. Okay. All right. I've given you 4 questions there. Given you 4 questions. And so I will give you, normally with question 6, there are 2 parts. Okay. With question 6, there are 2 parts. But this is just one. In this case, I'll give you 4 minutes then. 4 minutes. Remember, you do not have to write complete sentences, okay? You do not have to write complete sentences. Just 1 word or 2 words is fine, okay? You have 1 minute left. Again, so look at this. Easy. What part of the world? What part of the world, please?
Europe.
Europe. Remember, we write Europe, not European. Okay, so Europe. Yeah. Go. The European-wide partnership. Okay. Good. Whose help does the project hope to gain? Whose help?
University College London.
Members of the public.
Members of the public, or
Residents of Pollard's Hills.
residents. Yeah, which is the same thing, isn't it, really? Yeah. Okay, there's the important thing. We understand whose. Okay, number 3. Which part of the Pollard's Hill estate was redesigned online?
Courtyards.
The country yards.
Courtyards. Now, those are the patios, okay? So the common areas, the gardens. Good. Which part? In this case, maybe we don't understand the word courtyard. Okay, if we don't understand the courtyard, it could be difficult. But it does say they were invited to redesign something. So here our deduction is, even if we don't know the word, okay, or we could also say the public spaces, which is a synonym, because the courtyard in housing development is a public space. So either would be good. Okay. And the lack of which skill may be a barrier. Which skill?
IT literacy constraints.
IT
literacy.
skills. IT skills. Okay? IT skills, which is computer skills, isn't it? Or IT literacy would also be good. Very good. So we got 5 or 4 very easy points there. Very easy points. You may be saying, oh, what? I can't see. Number 2, I can't see. In number 3, I can't see what part of the Pollard's Hill estate. I will continue. I'll continue. We'll leave that one behind. Okay, don't waste your time. Come back afterwards. Okay. Skim and scan. This is our example of skimming and scanning, right? The example of skimming and scanning. Which part of the world? Well, what can we see here? Europe, London Borough. But which part of the world? Partnership, participating, Europe. Okay, easy. All right. And we do not have to read the whole text at any time at all. We don't have to do that. Okay, so that's reading number 6. That was 8 minutes because you would have 2 of these activities. And finally, oh my God, question number 7. Hold on, this is easy. The president, which country? Skim, scan, which country? Which country? Which country are we talking about?
United States.
United States. So we've scanned there. And president, do we have any background knowledge? Do we have any background knowledge? Do you know anything about the presidents of the United States?
A crazy one right now.
So we all know who Trump is. We all know who Barack Obama is. And if we think, we all, if we are adults, of course, we all remember the elections, and we probably remember the last elections with this guy, President Biden, who forgot a lot of things. So we have some background knowledge. Great. Quite easy. Okay. Reading number 7. Something describes 3 conditions for becoming president. Something describes 3 conditions for becoming president. What describes the 3 conditions to become the president?
Constitution.
Wow, you've already got there. Wow, okay, there's the Constitution. There's the Constitution. And 1, 2, 3. There you are. 1, 2, 3. Easy. Wow, that's an easy one for 1 point. Number 2, minimum age for president. The minimum age for president.
5.
35 years old.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's easy, isn't it? Age 35 years old. Okay. Okay. Here we've got 2 questions. I don't know why they're together. They're not actually. This is number 4. Yeah, it should be. So if it is uncertain if an American who was born, what? It is uncertain if an American who was born can become president. Strange. A strange sentence. But
Abroad.
okay, look, it is uncertain. Scan, confusion and controversy. Uncertain. So a child, and there's our expression, born abroad, born in a different question. It is, sorry, in a different country. It is not clear. Okay. So it is uncertain if an American who was born abroad can become president. Number four, the youngest president selected by the American public. This is great, isn't it? It's really easy. We know we have to look for a name.
Roosevelt.
Roosevelt. Or what's the other possibility? What's the other possibility?
Kennedy. What?
Okay. So if we like history, we know that Roosevelt and Kennedy were both presidents. Let's see. So what's the correct answer? Is the youngest president selected by the American public?
Roosevelt.
No, Kennedy.
Why?
No.
Because Roosevelt became president following the assassination of William McKinley.
Okay.
No. There is, however.
So Kennedy was the youngest person to be elected president. selected by the American public. So absolutely, it is Kennedy. Yes. Okay.
There was a however.
You see, okay, sorry. The youngest person to be president, but Theodore Roosevelt was 42 after the assassination. Okay, so it was just a direct substitution. Okay, there was no election. Okay, so that's the difference, that Kennedy was the youngest person to be elected or to be selected by the public. Continue. Presidential candidates, it's number 5, of course, are chosen, nominees, sorry, are chosen by representing different places. So we're not talking about the conditions. Now we're going on to the process. Okay. They're chosen by. Okay. There's the history. We're not interested in this anymore. We go back now to the bottom. Okay. And 9, we're only looking at that. They are chosen by what or by who?
Could you please enlarge the screen, Joshua? Thanks.
Yeah. So they are chosen by
A majority of delegates.
They are chosen by delegates, delegates, and delegates. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so that answer is are chosen by delegates. And because we understand what a delegate is in Spanish as well, it's actually quite easy. Okay. Number 6, then. It demonstrates that a presidential candidate can attract voters. And you know, because of your background knowledge, when we see the big meetings and we see the big debates on the TV and Trump is saying some stupid thing, or some funny thing, and he's talking to Biden and he's talking to Obama or whoever he's talking to. Okay. So what demonstrates? What demonstrates? What's the word for the process which they have to win?
The primaries.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so it's called the primaries. Now, this might be the difficult one. In fact, look, winning primaries would be the correct answer, which is to win the nomination. So possibly this is number 6. This is the one that we leave because we don't quite understand this. Okay, we don't quite understand. So we leave that and go on and leave it until the end. But number 7 is very easy. Attracting is the key to winning general election. Attracting,
Voters.
yeah, of course, voters, but which voters?
Undecided voters.
It could be undecided voters or undecided voters or independent voters. Okay, so it could be undecided or independent voters. Yep. Attracting undecided voters is key to winning the general election. Okay, so you've seen what we've done is to take the low-hanging fruit, the easy questions. We skimmed and we scammed. Okay, there was our, remember, it said what part of the world? Europe. Easy. Okay, and what particularly if we had, look, reading, that's number 5. Reading, no, sorry, reading number 6 and reading number 7. Which was the most difficult? Was it number 4, number 5, number 6, or number 7, do you think?
For me, the 5. Number 5.
Number 5. Anybody else agree? The one about the pensions?
Yes, 5.
Yeah, okay, number 5. Probably because it was the most technical, isn't it? It's the most technical. Everything was quite easy to understand. Even though we have some background knowledge about pensions, because I think everybody's worried. Some are more worried than others about their pensions, of course. But, you know, it is something which is very common in the newspapers and in the news today. Okay. However, it is the most difficult one. But listen, easy or hard, it's the same. It's 1 point. It's 1 point. So if we said spend 5 minutes on question number 4 and 7 minutes on question number 5, okay, spend the 7 minutes and go on, please. Please go on. Anything you didn't understand, you will have 10 minutes to come back afterwards. Okay, so 10 minutes, sometimes you're reading and reading and reading. And when you come back a second time, it all seems clear. It seems much more clear. Right? Okay, let's try something nice. Let's try something nice, a bit more reading. Okay. Now, I want you to look at the kind of questions which we've had. The kind of questions we have, they are never, they are normally, sorry, they're not closed questions. They are not questions you can say yes or no. All right? The questions do not start do or did. Have a look at this. Okay. I want you to look at this, and I want you, please, to look at the question, sorry, to look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want you to write a question. Okay. I want you to write a question which must begin with what, okay, with who is the second question, with 3, what, number 4, how many, and number 5, okay, again, what, okay? All right. I want you to write then 5 questions, okay, about the text. 5 questions about the text. You cannot, for example, you cannot ask, who was President Taylor? because it does not tell us. The information, the answer to your question must be in the text, please. Okay. Okay. I'll give you a couple of minutes. You can write down your questions. I'll give you 5 minutes. Go and get a cup of tea if you want to. This will be our break, okay, as well. So you've got 5 minutes to write down a couple of questions. Please write down your questions in the text box. I will give you 5 minutes. Okay, so I'm going to sign off in 5 minutes. So we get the answer, we get the questions now where we've got the answers in the text. Wow, there's some really nice questions. A few more. Okay, these are lovely questions, of course, you know. So we start off, what did President Taylor do? He opened his mouth. Okay. What did President do which caused no sound? He opened his mouth. Good. Who began to get angry? The crowd began to get angry. What spread quickly? The rumors spread quickly. How many people lost their lives? 72 people lost their lives. What finally happened to President Taylor? He was tried by a judge. Excellent. Okay, Maria, what did President Taylor do with his mouth? He opened it. Absolutely. Who got angry? Yeah, the crowd got angry. Excellent. Okay. Now look at Alicia, who says, what happened at the Taylor speech? That's too general. That's too general. Okay. So, you know, it have to be a bit more specific. We have to imagine we are the examiners. We are the Pearsons. Okay. What happened with the elections? Yep, that's good. What happened with President Taylor? Okay. What did President Taylor open? Okay. Who have been poisoned? Hold on. Had been poisoned. Ah. What cannot do? The ones at the front fell. They cannot breathe. Okay. The question is a very good question. Not the best grammar. Okay, but lovely. Wow. So the important thing is your teachers. And so, you know, when you work with a text, you have to write some questions which are easy to understand. Yeah. So absolutely understand that. That's very, 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 very good. Okay. So very nice. Now, your questions actually are kind of B1 level questions, aren't they? They're a little bit about kind of B1 level. So you're making the questions very easy. Pietro, of course, who is an expert in writing things, says, what were the rumors? Now that's, yeah, that's a good one. What happened to President Taylor? That's good. At the end, what was Taylor's intention? Now, Angelica, what was Taylor's intention? That's a bit too general. Because apart from opening his mouth or wanting to speak, we don't actually know. But in general, those questions are very, very good. Very, very good. Okay. Let's remember, intensive reading. Thank you, Sandra. Okay. Let's do some very, very, very intensive reading. So you might want a cup of coffee to sit down and do this very intensive reading now. I won't say anything. I won't tell you the instructions, nothing at all. Oops. I can't make it any bigger than this. This is the biggest I can make it. And I'll give you again 5 minutes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's very intensive reading because every time you read the question, you have to read the text again. Okay? Every time you read the question, you have to read the text again. Okay? Unless you've got an excellent memory. So, number 1. There we go. Number 1. What type of storage should be used for equipment weighing 350 pounds? 1, 2, or 3?
2.
Warehouse.
Warehouse. Yeah, number 2. Okay, good. Number 2, excellent. What type of storage should be used for a 50-pound box of dynamite?
Special.
1.
Good. What type of storage should be used for a 5-gallon drum needing refrigeration?
1.
1.
Special. Okay, wow. Okay. What type of storage would be used for machinery weighing 175 pounds?
3.
3. Wow, okay, easy. And what type of storage would be used for a cement truck used for parts?
2.
2.
2.
2. Warehouse. Because it weighs over 200 pounds. Really?
1.
A truck is very heavy.
And what other things would you find in a truck?
Special things.
Special things, of course, in the motor, oil, gasoline, different kinds of products which might be quite difficult to handle. So we think would be special. Okay. Again, it's just important there to read and read and read. Okay. Are you ready? One last reading activity. You need 5 minutes for this. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. True or false? Hyde Marie was a psychologist. Number 2, she used to spend her time working and earning money. Number 3, the purpose of the experiment was to survive without working. Number 4, she wrote a book about her way of life. Number 5, the project consisted of selling things at a low price. Okay. 5 minutes. Okay, how we doing then? So Heidi Marie was a psychologist. True or false, please? True or false?
True.
False.
True.
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 False.
False.
Psychologist is not the same of
Psychotherapist.
psychotherapist.
Oh, okay, so false. She was
False.
not a psychologist. She was a psychotherapist. Okay, then. Good. Number 2, she used to spend her time working and earning money. True or false?
True.
True.
True, it says here. She spent her time working and earning money. Good. True. The purpose of the experiment was to survive without working.
True.
No.
False.
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 So what was the purpose of the experiment?
To
What
be
was
to be conscious about something I can't remember.
okay? So it was to survive without working. It was to survive without
Money.
money. Yeah. Good.
But without working too, right? Because she's only making favors.
Because she's only doing favors. Well, possibly. Okay. All right. Possibly. Yep. All right then. But really without money. Okay. So she wrote a book about her way of life. True or false?
True.
True.
She
True.
did write a book. Yep. And the project consisted of selling things at a low price.
False.
False.
What was it about?
If it's possible to live doing things for other people only.
Okay. Yeah. Good. Okay, excellent. Okay, so we've got many different ways of reading, haven't we? We can read text, or we can read timetables, or we can read invoices, we can read instructions, many, many different things, and those will always help us. Okay. All right, let's continue then. Let's continue. In fact, we'll do a little bit of speaking, and then we're going to do some exam practice. Okay. Then we're going to do some exam practice. There we go. Without money, life is nothing. Without money, life is nothing. There's our question. Okay. Without money, life is nothing. Let's see. I can't see who's online at the moment. Don't know why. It's very strange. I can't see anybody. Okay, let's have to see who we've got here. Okay. Alicia Sanchez, are you there?
Yes.
Okay. So, Alicia, we're going to discuss something together. And the question is, without money, we are nothing. What do you think?
I think that life is good without money too, because you can make other plans that when you, o sea, other plans with any money. For example, go with your family or your friends at a park and talk about anything.
Okay, but if you have money, you can go to an expensive restaurant in your expensive car and wear some very, very nice clothes and maybe have some nice perfume, and that is really enjoying yourself, don't you think?
Yes, but the money don't give you or don't make you happy because you could be or could have clothes, or you can go to a restaurant and have the best food. But if you don't have friends or family, I think the money is very important.
Okay, but if you have more money, then it's much easier to have friends as well, isn't it? People like you if you have more money.
Um, yes, but these friends only want your money. No, these friends don't want you. Only go with you when you have money. If you don't have any money, these friends probably don't be there.
They won't be there. Oh, that's terrible. Thank you. That's very good. Thank you very much. Okay. Angelica, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, Angelica. So what do you think? What do you think? Without money, life is nothing. It's very, very sad. What's your opinion?
I think this is very extreme because with money we are person persons, so money is not that important. We need money for live. That's true, but with money, I think money is not all in the life.
But when I turn on the television and I see these very rich people like Isabel Presley or Brad Pitt, and I think, gosh, they have so much money and they're always beautiful and they're always happy. So I think that kind of life must be much better than this poor, miserable life that I have.
That's a completely lie. I think people, when they are rich, they are not happier than you, because money, it's not you cannot buy happiness. Happiness is in you. If you have a dog, you can take a dog, and it's free. You can go with friends and it's free. You can go hiking and it's free, and all of that things are free and make you happy. So money, it's not all.
Okay, but then if you have money, you can choose. So if you don't have money, you get some dog which you found in the street, which maybe it's very ugly. But if you have money, you can buy a beautiful dog,
but
a pedigree
but
dog.
but it's not happiness is not if you're ugly, or if you're pretty, or if your dog is pretty, or if it's um, ugly. It's only if he or she makes you feel good. It's not about the money. Buying a dog, buying a dog doesn't make you happier than take a dog for on the street.
Are you
Correct.
sure? Okay,
I am
thank you.
completely sure.
Completely sure. Okay, that's good. Thank you.
Yeah.
And Lourdes, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Lourdes, what do you think about this? No money, no life. What do you think?
I think money is important, but you can be so happy without a lot of amounts of money.
Okay, but if you don't have money to buy food, how can you possibly be happy?
If you don't have food, probably you have to go to a different kind of places that they can help to us. For example, Caritas or something like that.
But that's really, that's terrible. You must be so sad when you have to go and ask for things because you have no money. Can you imagine?
I think probably it's difficult, but you have to appreciate other kinds of things. For example, that love of people that can to help you, but probably it's difficult.
But even if even if there are people who love you, if you have no money, you can't give them anything. You can't buy any presents for them.
But I can love them. I probably I will help us in different kind of housework, of homework, or something like that.
Okay, thank you. All right, good. Thank you. Okay, let's continue. Very good. All three of those are very good. The only thing I would say when we have our question is please be a bit more emotional, okay? be a bit more emotional. So, without money, life is nothing. And you tell me, well, no, of course not. You don't need money. Okay. Oh, that's an interesting question. How terrible if you have no money. And I say, but Brad Pitt and Isabel Preisler are always happy because they've got money. You tell me, well, that's rubbish. That's rubbish. How can you say that? Okay, so in our discussion, please be a little bit more, passionate. Okay, because it sounds really good if you're being passionate. Let's try. Here we are. We study too much and we do too little. Sandra, you're back. Sandra.
Yes, I'm back.
Okay.
I can be here until 7:30.
Okay, well, quickly then. What do you think? We study too much and do too little. We study too much and do too little. What do you think?
I think we don't study too much. People in general, well, some people do study, but what are we talking about in the high school, for example, or in the studies we do because we want?
Well, I suppose it's the same, but I suppose we're talking about the studies we do at high school or university where you have an obligation to do it.
Okay, I think people in high school well, a little bit don't study too much because they don't want to study at all. And other people, yes, they study a little more, and they can, with the things they study, they can, well, know more things. And
Yeah. But Sandra, if they spend all the time studying, they don't do anything else, only studying. Is that good?
It depends on what they study. Because, for example, if they study history and they don't like it, they can do anything with that. But for example, if they like history, they can go to a museum and see art or some kind of things that they like.
Okay, but then, or they could watch movies or look at YouTube channels and then go to a place where some historical event happened.
Yes, they can do there if they have studied that and they liked it.
Yeah, but that's not Sandra. You must not agree with me. You have to say
I
completely.
know, but I don't understand too much the state.
Okay, it's a difficult question, actually, a very difficult question. Looks very simple, but that's why I said a difficult question. So we study too much and do too little. You were there. I think you were more or less there. Let's see, Miguel Angel. What do we mean here? What do you think? We study too much and we do too little. What's your opinion?
My opinion is that nowadays many things are forbidden, or at least you need to get a permission. Imagine that you, excuse me, the example, imagine that you want to breed a hen, just a hen.
A chicken.
Yes, okay.
Okay, yeah.
In order to get eggs. But in fact, the point is because when I was a student, I bred rabbits. Okay, but nowadays just one chicken. Okay, you need to fulfill a, procedure of information in order to get this uh, farm, micro farm, legalized. So there are many things we cannot do today. Everything is
Okay,
forbidden.
well, of course. But if you're talking about your chickens, that can be a very dirty thing, and you're talking about live animals. So it's really important that you study the science and all the regulations before you do something which is so difficult.
Yes, okay, but you try to do many things. Sorry, there are many things that uh, are forbidden, or at least you need to follow a labyrinthic procedure in order to accomplish the all regulations that exist in the European Union.
Of course. Well, this is why we are part of the European Union, so that we can respect each other and we can do things in a safe way.
Yes, but we are going to ruin the industry, the production, the primary sector in Europe.
Well, okay. I thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. That's a very good one. Okay, let's have another one. We study too much and do too little. Let's look. I want you to use an example. I want you to do an example. I want you to listen to an example of this. Let's see. Lourdes, hello. You there?
Hello.
Okay, Lourdes, when you're learning to drive, what do you think? We study too much and we do too little.
Probably yes. When I learn to drive, I have to study a lot because teachers said to me that it's very difficult the theoretic exam. But when I catch the car, it was very difficult for me to drive.
Okay,
Because
but you can't just drive a car. You can't just drive a car. What about all the other people who have got their cars? You need to understand the limits and the restrictions. It's very important.
But I think the most important thing is to practice with the real car, because I think in Spain, a lot of times, every time, it's so important theory and not practice.
Yeah, of course. But a car is a very dangerous object. You can't just start driving. That would be crazy.
But I know a lot of people in the village, for example, that when they were a child, they knew drive, and they don't have studies, driving studies.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. So there's a good example. Okay. A very good example. So remember, when you've got this kind of discussion question, it's important that you find a good example. Okay. That you find a good example. Otherwise, we study too much and learn too little. Sometimes the question can just become very nebulous and not very defined. So it is a good idea for you to focus if the examiner or interviewer is able to help you, good. But if not, you focus on something. And therefore, I think learning to drive is probably quite a good example. Okay, let's look at a photograph here. Let's look at the photograph here. Okay, two photographs. Two photographs. 1, 2. In the photo on the left, in the photo on the right. in the photo on the left, in the photo on the right, not at. In, on, in, on. Marlene, please, would you describe the two photographs, please?
Yeah, of course. In the photo on the left, we could see a very dry desert. It seems that it could be, for example, Grand Canyon, it could be, where because of the orange tone that that the picture has. And on the picture, in the picture on the right, there is a woman playing too many games. She's smoking and she's spending her time playing there. It seems that is Las Vegas. And she's wearing a dress. She looks adult, at least. And she's sitting down in a chair, waiting to her turn for playing in that game, or it could be video game. I'm not pretty sure. And on the picture, in the picture on the left, there are some natural monuments. Maybe they were made by the earth with their natural situations.
Okay, thank you.
And
Thank you. So, let me see. So, how would you spend your holiday? Let's see. How would you spend your holiday? Alicia Sanchez, how would you spend your holiday?
I will spend my holiday in the in the photo on the left because I think that is better see a natural place with views, beautiful views, because I don't like to stay in a place with computers or games. I don't like this. And I prefer to go visit different monuments or take a road, and I don't know, I would like the nature.
Okay, thank you. Amanda, how would you spend your holiday? What do you like and what you don't like about the two photographs?
I would like to spend my holiday in the photo on the left, because maybe it's a Mojave desert. I don't know, but it's natural, and I like more visit the natural lugares.
Places.
Because in the photo on the right is closed space, and I don't like this because I don't see the sun. More people smoke, and I don't
Thank
like
you.
this.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. And Maria Angeles, are you there? Okay. So Maria Angeles.
Yes.
Which would you prefer to spend your holiday? The picture on the left or the picture on the right?
The same way. I prefer on the left.
Mm-hmm.
On the left, the landscape desert, because I think there is very beautiful, no, marvelous,
Mm-hmm.
and it's possible to take photograph.
Mm-hmm.
And I think is enormous, and you can go to with friends and family, in the run, and it's possible walking to and see beautiful landscape.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you. Okay, let's do a little bit of role play. Your town council wants to give everybody an electric bicycle. Speak to a council official. Do the role play. Okay? Now, you don't think it's a very good idea. You don't think it's a very good idea. Okay? And I want you to tell me why you don't think it's a very good idea. And I am the official from the council. So let's see who we've got here. I'm going to knock on your door, okay, and explain our wonderful new plan to give everybody a new electric bike. So, Maria Gonzalez, are you able to speak?
I'm here, yeah.
Okay. Okay, so I knock on your door. Oh, hello.
Hi.
Hi. Hi. Is this Miss Gonzalez?
Yes, it's
Yeah.
me.
Okay. Listen, I've come from the council and I've brought you an electric bicycle. Where do I put it?
But I haven't asked for that bicycle. Why are you coming here with a thing I haven't asked for? Sorry.
Well, because I'm from the council, we've decided that everybody can have an electric bike if they want one.
Even if they don't ask for that.
Yeah, everybody gets a bicycle. Yeah, I've got a nice one, the blue one for you.
Thank you for that offer, but honestly, I don't think this is a very good idea, at least in my case, because I don't have enough space for the bicycle here at home. And additionally, I'm afraid of riding a bike within the traffic in this city, so I won't want the bicycle. Thank you very much.
Yeah, but I mean, I can see that you've got a very fast Mercedes car. And unfortunately, you will not be able to use your Mercedes car in the city anymore.
And what's the reason? Because I cannot access with my very nice Mercedes to the city center?
Well, because we're going to close the city center. No more cars.
No worries, I will take the bus, but I don't want the bicycle. Thank you very much.
Okay, but you know the buses will be very crowded with people who don't know how to ride a bike. Is that your problem? You don't know how to ride?
No, I do. I do know how to ride the bike, but I don't want to take the personal risk to go by bike with the buses. You know, they drive crazy. The bus drivers have not consideration at all with their bike riders. So I don't want, to get injured or to have any trouble because riding a bike.
Well, okay, but we will have a special cycle lane and you can buy a helmet.
I could, but honestly, I don't want. Even if I wear a helmet, if in case of an accident, I will be really, really injured. And I don't want, to spend weeks at the hospital to go to rehab because of riding a bike that I don't want to ride. And honestly, I think that you will understand my point of view. And honestly, I'm very thankful for this kind of measure from coming from the council, but I thank you, but I don't want it.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe there's somebody else at home who could use it. Don't you live with any friends or I don't know,
No, I live alone. But
Well,
maybe you can ask to my neighbor from the floor behind. Maybe he's a very good cycle. So maybe he wants to get this kind of bike and to assume the risk of, going through this crazy traffic we have in here.
okay. All right. Well, yeah, I'll give him one too. Okay. I'll give him one too. Okay. Thank you very much for your time. All right. Good. Okay. Thank you. And Pietro, who's like he's going straight onto Wallapop with his bicycle. So Pietro, I knock on your door. You open the door, and you say,
Hello. Hello.
"Yeah, hello. Is this Mr. Valetti?"
Yes, it's me.
Mr. Valetti, look, you're on my list. This is lucky. Look, I've brought
Oh,
you.
wonderful.
I've brought you a very special bicycle. Okay, it's an electric bicycle just for you.
No, 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 no. I read on the newspaper about the initiative, and I know you did buy the cheapest electric bikes in the market, and I don't want that
Well,
bicycle.
like we tried to buy normal bicycles, but people don't want to cycle. They said only an electric bicycle. So
What about the autonomy? How many kilometers uh, may I run with it?
yeah, it's a very good one. It'll give you about 10 minutes. Okay.
Oh, no, 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 no. It's too, it's a very, how can I say? Where do I go with 10 minutes autonomy?
Well, it means that you can come to the town centre and we have some charging points. And whilst it's charging, you can go to the local shops and you can have a coffee in the local bars and you can visit the local monuments. So that's really good for you.
I'm not convinced.
Or you can go to the station. It's about 10 minutes. If you then want to go and visit somewhere beautiful like Segovia or go to Burgos, you can get the train, just leave the bike at the station.
If I accept it, I can sell it again.
No, you can't sell it. Of course not. Of course not.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Uh, I don't know.
Okay. Well, I've got the bike here. Can I just leave it and maybe I'll come back in a week? And if you don't want it, then I'll take it back. Is that okay?
Okay, yeah, okay. Okay, yes. Please leave here.
Okay. All right.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Okay. Thank you very much. And one more. Let's see. Alicia Esteves. Alicia. So I'm going to come and knock on your door. I'll knock on your door.
Hey.
Yeah. Is I'm looking for Miss Esteves. Is that you?
Yes, I guess it.
Okay, so Miss Esteves, listen, I've come from the council and I've got this electric bike for you. Okay, where do I leave it? Where shall I put it?
No, don't leave it here. I don't want it because I do not agree with this measure
But
because
it's free. You don't have to pay anything. It's for you.
yeah, but the government could have spent the money in something like medical health instead of bikes.
Yeah, but we thought that if everybody uses a bicycle, there will be less cars, less pollution, and that will affect everybody's health in a more positive way.
Yes, but the bikes will end up broke in the street.
and the people will not take care of them.
But we'll have to, because it will be your bike, and if we find your bike on the street, then you will have to pay a fine if you don't look after it properly.
Yeah, but I don't want the bike because I already have an electric car. So I don't want it.
Okay, but you know, the electric cars, you know, you will not be able to come into the town centre anymore. Okay? So if you want to come into the town centre, you will have to walk.
Well, I will walk. I live near the center, so I can walk.
But you live in a very dangerous place. You know, this area is very dangerous. There's a lot of strange people. Don't you think it'd be better if you had a bike and you can go a bit faster?
No, because I have practiced taekwondo, so I don't have fear to walk on the street.
Okay, the kickboxer. Okay, then. Fantastic. Thank you. All right, then. Well, I'll just make a note that you don't want the bike. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so good. Yeah, there's a nice couple of things. Okay, let's just we're just going to finish off then with our reading. Just going to finish off with our reading for the moment, and we're going to do a little bit of exam practice. Okay, so give me a couple of minutes, please. Give me a couple of minutes, and I just need to open the new unit. Okay, so if you want a couple of minutes to go and get a glass of water or something whilst I open the next unit, please. Okay, so just 2 minutes.
Number 1. Listen to the man speaking. Who is he?
Hello, this is Mike Kettering. Having listened to the weather forecast on the radio last night, I have decided to cancel Wednesday's all-day hike. Heavy storms are predicted throughout the week, especially in the area on our itinerary.
Number 2. Listen to the conversation. Which aspect of the painting do they disagree about?
It really captures the quality of light in that part of Russia.
Couldn't agree more. Beautiful work by Fedotov. Very much in the tradition of the 19th century.
18th, surely.
Considerably later, I would say. But a marvellous piece, nevertheless.
Number 3. Listen to the man speaking. What is he doing?
Hello, Kate. It's Marco here. I've checked out the temperature for the island in June, and it's in the mid-30s. I think you'd be crazy to take Frankie there. You know how pale-skinned he is. By September, it'll be cool enough to go out during the day without worrying about burning. I'd really think about it if I were you.
Number 4. Listen to the conversation. What are they talking about?
We're always being told we'll have to adapt to climate change. Personally, I can't wait to swap the boring old potato with peppers and aubergines, even pineapples.
Yeah, and not be watering all the time.
I guess they'll bring a whole new range of garden pests, though.
Oh, let's face that when it comes.
Number 5. Listen to the conversation. What were the characters in the play doing?
So, what did you think?
It was okay, but honestly, a play about two writers just,
Well,
well, spending an evening watching a married couple at each other's throats and biting each other's heads off is not my idea of fun.
it's a serious drama, Annie.
Yes, obviously I realise that, but nevertheless.
Number 6. Listen to the woman speaking. Why did Marcel Blanc supposedly resign as conductor?
It's been announced that Marcel Blanc has resigned as conductor of the New World Orchestra. He'd been suffering from poor health, but a spokesperson claimed the reason behind the decision was musical differences with sponsors of the orchestra. She said that Mr. Blanc was on holiday with his extended family and would hold a press conference on his return.
Number 7. Listen to the weather forecast. What should rail passengers do?
Here is a severe weather warning for people travelling today. Anyone hoping to fly from Tarengo is advised to phone the airport hotline. Passengers for trains today should confirm their journeys are operational by visiting the website, and school closures will be announced as they come in, here on Radio 24 FM. Try to keep warm.
Number 8. Listen to the conversation. Who are the speakers?
You throwing out all those batteries?
Well, not sure they're any good.
Well, hang on. I'll pop back next door, get my battery tester. Tells you which ones are and aren't working.
You're gadget mad, Ian, but that'd be great. Meanwhile, I'll get the kettle on. Oh, and don't bang the door. Maddie's still asleep.
Number 9. Listen to the conversation. What's the woman's opinion of space travel?
All these billions wasted on sending monkeys into space and...
Ben, you can't just dismiss the human need to explore.
Explore what? Empty space? While people on Earth have hardly got enough to...
Sorry, I can't accept that. Huge benefits have already come from space science, and it's the press who've sent out mixed messages to people who are not well informed.
Number 10. Listen to the conversation. How is the man feeling?
Good heavens, Nick! Is this a kitchen or the flight deck on a spaceship?
I know. It's like stepping into the future, isn't it? Honestly, it's not my taste, but Marge just loves anything new.
New? It's 22nd century. How much did it all cost?
Don't ask. I can't bring myself to tell anyone in case they laugh at me.
Okay, so let's have a look. They're quite easy, relatively easy. If you want to do C1, I think you should have got 8. If you want to do B2, you should have got 6. Okay, so number 1 is C. Number 2 is B. Number 3 is A. Number 4 is B. Number 4 was a difficult one. Number 5 was A. There's also a difficult one, but number 5 was A. Number 6 was A. Also a difficult one. Number 7 was C. Number 8 was B. Number 9 was C. And number 10 was A. Okay? Let's revise that. If you want to do B2, you should get 6. Yeah. And if you want to do C1, you should get 8. Okay? Any which were particularly, which you don't agree with? You don't agree with me? Any you'd like to ask about?
I didn't get number 6, and I don't know why.
Oh, well, why did he supposedly resign? And he did say he was going on a holiday with his family.
Yes, but at first they say something related that that he disagreed with the orchestra sponsor, and that's why he went to the trip with the family, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, let's go back.
Here on Radio 24 FM.
Sorry,
Try to keep
resigned as conductor of the New World Orchestra. He'd been suffering from poor health, but a spokesperson claimed the reason behind the decision was musical differences with sponsors of the orchestra. She said that Mr. Blanc was on holiday with his extended family.
Okay then. B, you're right. I'm wrong. Yeah, the spokesperson said there were disagreements. Number 6 was in fact B. Yep. I didn't listen correctly. Okay. So yes.
Joshua, excuse me.
Yep.
Number 8.
Yeah.
What British accent is this?
That's a Midlands accent. That's from the area around Birmingham.
Okay.
Okay. Which is very nasal. Okay. Nasal.
Nasal?
Yeah. And like people speak like that from their nose. All right.
Nasal. Okay.
Yep. So like the people, you know, there's a TV series on Netflix called The Peaky Blinders.
Yes, Peaky Blinders.
Peaky Blinders. So that was that accent. Very similar. Okay. Okay then. All right. Let's continue, shall we? Right. Oh, here we go. Okay, you will hear a recording about posters. Are you ready with your pencil? You will listen twice.
Loves anything new.
New? It's 22nd century.
Works of art. There is an alternative.
Sorry.
Section 2, number 11. You will hear a recording about posters. Listen to the whole recording once. Then you will hear the recording again with pauses for you to write down what you hear. Make sure you spell the words correctly.
If you enjoy looking at paintings but cannot afford the high prices which come with buying original works of art, there is an alternative. Posters are inexpensive to buy. In addition to fine art, you can choose from old advertisements, classic album covers, and reproductions of well-known film posters. If you enjoy looking at paintings, but cannot afford the high prices, which come with buying original works of art, there is an alternative. Posters are inexpensive to buy. In addition to fine art, you can choose from old advertisements, classic album covers, and reproductions of well-known film posters.
Section 3.
So you have a very short time, and please remember that at this point, you should leave the dictation, and then afterwards, when you're doing the reading, you can come back and check, okay? You don't have time to check it now. There's no time. There you go. Here's in the chat box, you can see the correct version. Sorry, there's a mistake here. Excuse me. You can choose, okay? Okay. Not too difficult, not too difficult. Okay, spelling. The spelling is very important. Alternative, inexpensive, choose, advertisements, well known. Okay, cannot afford, cannot afford. It's a bit terrible, cannot afford. Okay, so you can copy that and keep it yourself if you want to, okay?
Joshua, excuse me.
Yes?
What happens if we don't catch a word, but we write down a synonym? For example, I understood posters aren't expensive to buy.
No, that's a mistake. Well, it's half a point, okay? Half a point. Okay, there's still half a point, which you've lost. Okay? Right. Okay, so you've got that for when you want it. You can look at that later. And now, remember, we got two parts to section 3, completely different, and in both of them, you have to complete the notes, okay? You have to complete the notes. Sometimes it's very important when it says, read the notes first and then listen. Sometimes it will say, you must use a minimum of 3 words. Sometimes it will say, you must use a maximum of 3 words. This is one question where sometimes there's a variation. There's a variation, okay? And here you will read the recording, you will hear the recording twice. So let's go through it now. I'm going to turn off my camera and my microphone.
Numbers 12 to 16. You will hear a radio discussion. First, read the notes below, then listen and complete the notes with information from the discussion.
You will hear the recording twice.
My guest today is the Government Minister for the Arts, Faye Morrison.
Hello.
Can you confirm that you're going to cut spending on public art?
Well, we have to make savings due to the economic situation, so yes, we plan to save money in this area.
Are there any particular projects which will be axed?
We intend to review everything in July and August and make our final decision in October.
And how will you decide?
It'll depend mainly on merit, but there are other things to consider. Costs, obviously.
But some pieces, like The Angel of the North, were well worth the money. People love it. It's a symbol of the area.
On the other hand, the traffic light tree put up in 1998 had to be demolished as drivers thought they were real traffic lights. Waste of money.
Well...
It was easier in the past when public art was mainly statues dedicated to well-known politicians, soldiers or society figures. They were often paid for by the public or people who admired them. And there was no vandalism in those days. You wouldn't believe how much that adds to the maintenance costs.
Now, listen again.
My guest today is the Government Minister for the Arts, Faye Morrison.
Hello.
Can you confirm that you're going to cut spending on public art?
Well, we have to make savings due to the economic situation, so yes, we plan to save money in this area.
Are there any particular projects which will be axed?
We intend to review everything in July and August and make our final decision in October.
And how will you decide?
It'll depend mainly on merit, but there are other things to consider. Costs, obviously.
But some pieces, like The Angel of the North, were well worth the money. People love it. It's a symbol of the area.
On the other hand, the traffic light tree put up in 1998 had to be demolished as drivers thought they were real traffic lights. Waste of money.
Well...
It was easier in the past when public art was mainly statues dedicated to well-known politicians, soldiers or society figures. They were often paid for by the public or people who admired them. And there was no vandalism in those days. You wouldn't believe how much that adds to the maintenance costs.
Numbers 17 to 21. You will hear a talk. First, read the notes below, then listen and complete the notes with information from the talk.
You will hear the recording twice.
Everybody finds post-it notes helpful both at home or at work, especially in offices. The story of how they came into being is unusual because the glue used to make the notes sticky was invented 20 years before the notes themselves. The glue, the weakest glue you can imagine, was accidentally invented by a Dr. Spencer Silver, who worked for a company called 3M. At the time, in the 1960s, Dr. Silver couldn't come up with a use for this weak glue. 20 years later, Art Fry, who worked for the same company, had an idea. He sang in a choir and realized the weak glue could help make bookmarks for his songbook. The bookmarks wouldn't fall out and wouldn't damage the book either. Fry managed to persuade the company to manufacture the product, which were then called Post-its. Originally, they were yellow, to match American legal paper. People thought the wide use of computers would kill off the post-it note. Untrue. In offices, it's common to see post-its stuck all over computer screens.
Now, listen again.
Everybody finds post-it notes helpful both at home or at work, especially in offices. The story of how they came into being is unusual because the glue used to make the notes sticky was invented 20 years before the notes themselves. The glue, the weakest glue you can imagine, was accidentally invented by a Dr. Spencer Silver, who worked for a company called 3M. At the time, in the 1960s, Dr. Silver couldn't come up with a use for this weak glue. 20 years later, Art Fry, who worked for the same company, had an idea. He sang in a choir and realized the weak glue could help make bookmarks for his songbook. The bookmarks wouldn't fall out and wouldn't damage the book either. Fry managed to persuade the company to manufacture the product, which were then called Post-its. Originally, they were yellow to match American legal paper. People thought the wide use of computers would kill off the Post-it note. Untrue. In offices, it's common to see Post-its stuck all over computer screens.
That is the end of the listening section of the test. Now go on to the other sections of the test.
You can see that the listening test finishes after 20 minutes. For C1, it finishes after 25 minutes, so a little bit longer. So that means that you now have 1 hour and 40 minutes, 1 hour and 40 minutes to do the reading and the writing. And so if you manage your time, you have 30 minutes to do the reading, 10 minutes to check the reading, and then 1 hour, 1 full hour to do the writing. And actually for B2, that is more than enough, okay? So because you have so much time for B2, it's so important that you use the time to check everything, okay? Let's look at the answers here. Let's look at the answers here. So number 18 was by accident. Number 18 was 3M, the name of the company. Number 19 was bookmarks. Okay. Number 20 was legal paper. Okay. And number 21 is a common site. Okay. It's still a common site. So from these two listening exercises, from this one listening exercise where the maximum number of points is 10, okay, I would expect if you want C1 to get at least 7, and if you wanted B2 to get at least 5, okay? So there you are. Okay. When the listening is finished, the listening has finished. Okay. The only thing you can do after the listening has finished, the only thing you can do after the listening is finished is when you're doing your writing or reading, you can look back and make sure that you have answered everything. Okay. So you need to do that whilst you're doing the reading, then the listening's a little bit fresh in your mind. Okay? But you have an advantage. You have an advantage because you live in a developed country with a common history. and most of the subjects are focused on things which people from Europe would understand. It is possible that people from China who have a different culture might not understand some of the social or cultural things they're talking about. All right? And China is the biggest market, all right, is the biggest number of students taking the exam. Okay, so now it seems to be a good time to stop the recording.